back to the HaneyBiz Project with investorpreneur Mark Haney.
Welcome back to the HaneyBiz Project, brought to you courtesy of accounting firm Clifton Larson Allen and DCA Capital. I'm Mark Haney, and I am rejoined by both Doug Wagemann and Bill McAnally. We've been talking entrepreneurship. We last talked to Doug, and we were talking about what it's like to buy and grow a funeral business. And you told me during the break that next time you're going to bring a gift. See, Bill comes in with these gifts signed by famous people. And Doug, you didn't.
I didn't get the memo.
So we're going to have to work on you.
But tomorrow I will be bringing a urn.
Okay.
Unfilled? Unused urn.
Okay.
And we'll see if we can't have some candy in or something like that, so you'll have something for your guests.
All right. Maybe I will put Bill's hat right next to your urn, and I will think of you as I walk through my office, as we walk through Mark Tank. I'll think of my two buddies from Roseville, building businesses. But we're talking about building businesses, Bill, right? And it's not always easy. There's failure. There's tough times. What would you say to entrepreneurs out there who are maybe facing that turning point where, gosh, it's not working, I might have to make a change? What should they be thinking about right now?
Well, thinking outside the box, looking at what's going on around you. Sometimes you need to make changes. I mean, that's just the way we advertise, the way we promote our businesses. You've got to be looking at what's working, changing times with all the technology, and nowadays with social media, we're putting a lot into that. We've never done that with our business before, but it's very successful with our racing to get the word out there. So now we're doing that with our automotive repair business.
Yeah. Well, it makes me think about racers and having to have a certain mindset. Not everybody comes out your first day on the track and they're big-time winners, right? There's these setbacks where sometimes you even get a little bit overconfident. What do you tell a racer that's starting to get down to the dumps?
You just got to
suck it up, buddy.
Mama said you'll have days like this. It fuels your fire. You got to once you've won and done good, that usually is the brass ring or the carrot out there that you're always working for. But you're not trying hard enough if you're not failing every now and then.
It seems like I mean, confidence, right, is so. It's so difficult to come by. It's so easy to lose. And I have to imagine, Doug, right? You've been doing this 5 years, but you've been in the business so long. You had the major medical setback, and it gave you that chance to sort of regroup and decide what you want to be.
Right.
Has it been easy sailing since you started your own deal?
Again, like I said before, it's a different set of problems and issues and things like that. It all depends on the mindset too. There's going to be times when you do have to step back and take a run and make a flying leap. What I have found in a lot of things is that, I believe very, very strongly in little changes, the compound effect.
Right.
And if you just, do this unsexy, improve a little bit every day type thing.
It's amazing how progress feeds upon itself,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
But there is times that you do have to, you're at a crossroads. And, you go down this road, here's the best probability of what's going to happen. You go down this road. So sometimes you got to take that step.
Yeah, and I mean, as an entrepreneur, sometimes we feel alone in these big decisions, right? It's like one way or the other. If I make the wrong one, it could put me out of business. I mean, maybe both are possibilities for doom and gloom. How do you go about making these decisions? I mean, is there somebody that stands by your side? Do you make them alone from your ivory tower?
Well, I can see my wife, called you and make sure that you get that
she's
in.
She's the CEO of the Doug Wagemann Life, huh?
Doug Wagemann Enterprises. But, whether it's family, and Bill, has done a fantastic job surrounding himself with just top-notch people. You got to have the top-notch people. And you got to be careful who you are associating with on a day-to-day basis. Man, if you have the right people, the ones with the right mindset and the same mindset, they're going to encourage you along the way.
Interesting. I mean, it's amazing how much the right people, the people rub off on us, right? We end up becoming a lot like the people we spend the most time around. Who's in that world for you, Bill?
Well, If we're talking auto care, it's one group of people, but my wife does the books. She does the deposits and the receivables. She's an important piece to my business. But in family, my daughter works for me. My son works for me. It's great having the family be part of the business. But no matter what change you make, you need them all to buy into it, or it's going to fail. And you've got to explain it to them, get them to buy into it. And when they're in it, it's easy to go as an army.
What's your biggest failure?
Biggest failure. I mean, we have them all the time. We'll be leading a race and have a right front go down and hit the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had some bad ones. We lost a championship last year. We ran the K&N East and the K&N West, the first team to ever lead the points in both series, and we got a right front flat at Dover, hit the wall, and lost the championship to Harrison Burton in our last race. So, I mean, we have failures every day. Like I said, if you're not failing, you're not trying, and we're always trying a different spring combination, shock combination, always looking for that edge, and sometimes it's wrong, but you always got your baseline to go back to.
Yeah. Well, one of your baselines here, I mean, I got my 68 Camaro replica sitting here. This is actually a 67, but it's this red convertible. You guys, one of your divisions fixed up my car, my little baby, and put in, I think, fuel injection system, and it runs like a champ. I mean, how's that division going? That's not failing, I hope.
No, not at all. Not at all. The race side, we have that's where we're trying stuff all the time.
Yeah.
The automotive care, we're pretty steady Eddie with that.
Nice.
We got good people. We do the right things and make our customers happy.
Well, it made me think about you, Doug, and your business. You're working in an industry where I would think you said it was fun. You described it as enjoyable, like a chess match. What are your next moves? What moves are coming for Doug Wagemann and company?
Well, boy, I'm really not sure. I think part of being an entrepreneur and a business owner is keeping your eyes open for the opportunities, and being willing to stop and take a look, whether it's going to be a real estate thing or whether I'm going to buy another funeral home or start another, entity. We're always going to be looking at that, but we're always going to be wanting to, meet the market where they're at and fill that need. So whether it's another cremation society in another area with a very high cremation rate, or maybe it is doing something else. Maybe I start, or maybe I buy a small cemetery and make it into a cremation garden. There's just...
Well, what's you talked about the society. What is that?
Well, it's historically, people would put money together in a society for burials. It used to be called burial societies. Early on in cremation, the names were Cremation Society, and it seemed to be more of an ambivalent and benevolent type of a name. What I found when I was doing focus groups on name was they liked that aspect of it, but also Placer County people are Placer County people.
Okay.
They like to do business in Placer County.
They want to associate with one another.
I need to make sure that name was in there as well. Now, if I go out of the area, I might have to consider a more generic name for a different, cremation business.
Well, we only have about a minute left, Bill. I got to ask you though. You and I were talking during the break. Doug talks about keeping your eyes open and looking for new opportunity. You mentioned what's going on at the Placer County Fairgrounds. You're a part of something. Why don't you touch on what the opportunity looks like? I mean, what's the vision for you out there at Placer County?
Well, it's amazing. If you haven't been out there, they've renovated the two halls, Johnson and Jones halls. They're putting $40 million worth of improvements in Placer County Fairgrounds. It's now called The Grounds. Placer Valley Tourism has a 39-year lease, and it looks like Bill McAnally Racing Promotions is going to take over All-American Speedway. So.
Exciting stuff right there in my hometown. This is, Sacramento is, I think, all of our town, but I grew up in Roseville. I'm gonna spend the rest of my days out there, I think, at some point. And I've spent a lot of time at Jones and Johnson Hall in Placer County. So look forward to it. I want to thank you guys for coming on the show today. Next week, we're going to try to top you next week. I don't know how it's going to go. We got Lokesh Sikaria, Moneta Ventures coming on, along with Dr. Javeed Sakiti of Telemed to You. And then we've got Cameron Law, 3 guests next week of SVP. When it comes to social ventures, he is the law. When we come back, we'll share our takeaways, our closing thoughts about today's show, and about that lost concept of failure. Failure is not an option. It is okay to refuse to lose. Join the revolution at HaneyBiz.com, brought to you courtesy of Ethan Conrad Properties and financial advisors, Stifel Financial. This is the HaneyBiz Project.